appreciate all of you for being here. I want to start by telling you that we are here basically for one reason. I believe, and the city of Owasso believes, that to be in authority, one must be under authority. There's no other thing we can say. If we want to be a government that is in authority, we have to be a government that is under authority. We're under the authority, some of us, from the city council, and some of us are under authority of state statutes and the Constitution of the United States of America. But we have to be under an authority to be in. I want to begin by saying that I have 7 grandchildren, and I would trust any of my grandchildren in the custody of the Owasso Police Department. The Owasso Police Department has a culture of understanding that they are on the front lines of constitutional protection of our citizens more than any other group. I have great respect for those men and women who serve our country in the armed forces. But I tell you this, there is no group of men and women who are on the front lines of protecting the rights of the individual more than the local police officer and the local fire department. They have such wide authority to be intrusive and to take liberties that there has to be a level of discipline, a level of self-discipline, a level of culture that avoids us taking advantage of people. We're here today also to announce to you that based on all of the information, advice, and counsel that I've received over the last 3 days, I have decided to direct our city attorneys to file a motion in district court asking the district court to set aside and vacate the order of the arbiter in the case of Michael Denton. I have to do that. We believe that the arbiter exceeded his jurisdictional authority by, in effect, rewriting the city of Owasso's policy on excessive force. There can't be a little bit of unreasonable force. There can be a little bit of unnecessary force, and the policies of the city of Owasso say there shall be no unreasonable or unnecessary force. And the arbiter, in finding that there was, in fact, unreasonable and unnecessary force, but then saying, but we're going to ignore the city's ability to discipline that, exceeded his authority. The arbiter found that the force used by Denton was unreasonable and unnecessary, but for some reason decided it wasn't excessive because the arrestee was not injured. The policy followed by the Owasso Police Department, enforced by our chief, considers force to be excessive when it is unreasonable and unnecessary, and we believe the arbiter had no authority to rewrite our department policy, and we're going to ask the judge to vacate that. Secondly, for reasons I guess only the arbiter knows, the arbiter decided that he was going to violate the public policy of the state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma state law prohibits police officers from using unreasonable or unnecessary force. The arbiter's decision essentially determines it's okay to do that, and it thereby violates the public policy of the state of Oklahoma. And for those two reasons, we have decided to ask the court to set aside this one. I don't want to make a huge deal out of this, but people do make a huge deal out of us looking at ways to hire veterans, people who serve our country. I personally favor that. But I much more favor protecting the innocents, the people who are incarcerated. If you have your hands handcuffed behind you and you're compliant, you're lying down, and you're not making any kind of move to resist, I think that's an innocent. He may be dealing with us. He deserved being arrested. He deserved being taken down. at the scene and handcuffed. He didn't deserve this. I want you to watch after the gentleman is picked up, I want you to watch the foot and the foot action on this person's face. Lying down, completely in control and unresisting. Watch this right here, right here. That's incident number 1. This is incident number 2 coming up. Watch this. Oops, we missed. But we tried. Incident number 3 coming up next. I think we're going to change cameras here. Look at this gentleman's arms. Completely compliant. Completely compliant. Look at this. And now we move to incident, 3.5 here. This is, I think, not very good, but here's the next incident, and this comes off the officer's camera that we had just installed that day.
Yes. You ready to walk?
That's not a replay. That's not a replay of the same incident 3 times. It's 3 times. It's not a replay, it's 3 times. We have a higher standard in the Owasso police. So many good men give their life for their country. We have so many good men and women who serve so sacrificially. This was disgusting.
Lieutenant had been with the department for 18 years, is that right?
That is correct.
Do you have any track record of excessive force, any other violations, citations, suspensions?
There has been some disciplinary in the past. Nothing was risen to this level. There was an incident many years ago. It was removed from his file. I can't really speak to that issue. But nothing like this.
Was it removed because of the arbitration or
Yes. It was removed because until the recent release of this video, a lot of the officers within the agency hadn't seen it. And because these videos are only able to be seen by either the administration or that particular officer's supervisor. So a lot of the officers, once they've seen this, they were pretty appalled by the actions of the officers, disappointed, and in some cases, hopefully agreed with, not agreed with the decision of the arbiter, but agreed with our decision.
during this interim period between now and when we actually file with the district court, is the lieutenant on patrol and active duty, or does he remain suspended and what's his status?
His status would remain the same. He will not be brought back to work until district court makes a ruling. So he will remain in the same status as he was terminated. The city did about 13 years ago file an appeal on a case. But the courts threw it out because the city filed the appeal based on the facts of the case, saying, in fact, yes, these officers did have used excessive force. The judge said, I'm sorry, we can't do that. You're remanded back to implement the arbitrator. But in our case, we're not appealing the facts. We agree with the facts. The officer used unnecessary and unreasonable excessive force. The arbiter found for that. What we say is that he exceeded his authority in the award, and so that's what we're appealing. We believe that based on the law, the judge would want to close with this. The day that this was reported to us by a member of the Owasso Police Department, we took action to suspend that officer. He didn't work another hour after we knew it. That's correct. The day that we finished due process, we terminated that officer. He didn't work another day after we suspended. And now it comes to the arbiters of war. Now, I'm just not going to decide that that's it and go on down the road. We're going to continue to protect the citizens of this community, because I don't think it's right for a member of our community to call 911 and say, I've got an emergency, but don't send Officer blank. And I don't think it's right for us to be in a situation where a police officer thinks he's got under the color of law, can do this, and as long as it doesn't put a mark on your face, it's okay.